Hello. Oh, one viewer. We have one viewer. All right, cool. We're back. We're back. Hi, humans. Hi there. I have a little bit of background ambient music here. Okay, so living off grid in Hawaii, my internet is kind of terrible, so we'll just have to work with it. But it should be okay. We just upgraded. All right. So, all right. What am I talking about? The retreat. So I've got this curriculum that I crafted from over a decade of being on the road and going through my own creative process and looking through a lens, an analytical lens about what it is I do and what is my relationship to my art. And when I'm totally crushing and lushing it in the studio, what are the factors at play that keep me in the flow state making the music? And then when I hit musical blocks and things aren't flowing and I'm getting frustrated, what's happening in my world at that time? So I've been looking at all this stuff, analyzing it, and working out a way to sort of teach this flow state. Oh, look, we got a John Sheridan there. Crikey. G'day, mate. G'day. How's it going, mate? Pour me a beer. VB. So yeah, anyway, the retreat is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be super deep. It's going to be a week of waking up early, doing breath work, stretching, eating incredible food. I'm talking incredible food. Our friends at this farm, they got, their food's amazing, and they source a lot of local organic stuff from the neighborhood, from the area and the island. And so, we got this, epic food. And then we have lectures, which aren't going to be too long. I never liked school personally. I dropped out. And I don't want to sort of replicate the same thing as school where the teacher would just blab on forever and it was just boring. I want to make this a little more interactive, get some sort of theatrical things happening. So when we're learning, we're sort of integrating what we're learning. But it's going to be it's going to be a very broad journey. There's a lot to cover. Think about it. Music, that's a whole universe. And mysticism, that's another entire universe. But it's going to be fun more than anything. So, I would love some questions. You got any questions for me? Anything else you want to know about stuff and things? Who we got? Oh, so much love here in the comments. Loving it. Remember, this is my first Facebook Live ever. So I'm a little nervous right now, okay? I'm just going to put on some more ambient music to soothe me. All right, one question. Here we go. Oh, by the way, Mr. Erklang had his release yesterday on Merkaba Music, and I just want to say big ups. That was an epic release. It is an epic release. I had the pleasure and honor of mastering it. Well done, dude. Okay, not for the retreat, but in general. Any chance to see you live again? Ha! I knew this question was coming. And isn't it just fitting that it's the very first question? And there is a very long answer for this. A very long answer, but I'm going to try and distill it. At the end of 2019, Eve and I were completely burnt out. We'd been touring nonstop around the world for 10 years together, and me a few years prior to that. So, the last few years got intense, and we were touring up to 14 months straight at one point. So we ended up deciding to take a break. And then the world went into lockdown, which was kind of perfect because we were already taking a break. And so over this time, I also learned about how my body was not in a good way. A lot of heavy metals, parasites, adrenal fatigue. So I decided to use this time off the road to do some healing. And I've been going through all manner of protocols and healing modalities and technologies, and things are going really well. But after having this time off the road, we also decided to start focusing on creating a life that's more sustainable in a grounded sense here in Hawaii, and like have a real home, and not continue bouncing around from place to place feeling really ungrounded. And we're at the sort of precipice of that. This retreat is the first stage in creating something more grounded and sustainable. And we have another big project, which is still in a very mystical place. So I'm not going to talk about it, but there is a big project, and we're super excited about that. Hopefully, we'll get to share more about that soon. So, will I come back on tour or not? That's the big question. And there is a part of me that is very excited about going back on tour, but I really would love to go back on tour in a more holistic fashion and to play gigs and events that are, let's just say the energy is not so chaotic as before, where people are more open and receptive to going on a deep and present journey with the music. And it's not so much. I love a good party, don't get me wrong. I've taken all the things there are to take at the parties, love it all, it's all good. But when you're making music that has a ceremonial aspect, and you're coming to someone else's church and they don't have the same, you know, doctrine or religion as you, and you're trying to say prayers in that church, it doesn't always fly. So one thing we kept coming into conflict with was that we didn't always get to deliver the message that we intended to deliver. Some people got it, but sometimes the whole dance floor lifted off and it was incredible, and those moments are what we play for. So yeah, the short answer is yes, I'll be back, and the uncertainty is when that will happen. Maybe next year, don't know, because we've been working on different projects lately. We've been working on a lot of ambient music, so we really want to get these things, happening. Okay, let's move on. Take me to Hawaii. Oh, come anytime. Will you be doing any more of these in the future? Uh, yeah, Addison Lewis. Yeah, man, totally. We will definitely do some form of this. These first two are going to be kind of a test run because we've never done this before. And I feel like, yep, they're going to go well, and that'll be awesome. And we do intend to look at doing something like this in the future. Not sure when, though. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, we see us in Colorado. Yeah, maybe again one day. We'll see. Like I said, working on some other projects at the moment. Um, all right, let's keep going. Uh-oh, the questions, they're moving. Okay. What's the most important topic about music production that you'll teach at the retreat? The most important topic, well, there's two facets to this, right? There's the actual, like, in the studio practical EQing dynamics, distortion, saturation, mix bus, mix groups, all that technical stuff. And while I'm going to teach everything I do with the technical and the audio engineering, I would say the most important thing that I'm going to teach in relation to our music production is actually how we live our life in regards to our art. That is the most important thing, because it's actually the choices you make in life and the way you live that affect the art you make on the canvas and how you make it and how you show up for it. So that's definitely, I would say, the most important thing. And we're going to teach that. We're going to go through a journey of self-discovery with different tools and techniques and methods that will relate to our psychology and our health and wellness, all in relationship to showing up as an artist. And it's exciting because it's not something that's really taught that much, but it's a massive part of what we do. So yeah, and of course, are you going to learn how to make fat bass? Yes, the fattest bass ever. All right, let's go. Another question here. Oh, John Sheridan says, "Come to Dragon Dreaming one day, mate. One day. Looking forward to it. The reunion, the family reunion." Okay, here we go. Yep. Yeah, less chaotic events is tough. Do you have a sweet BPM spot? Okay, my sweet BPM spot is anything from 60 BPM to 140 BPM, anywhere in there. Like, that's the little zone that I work in. So yeah, that's my sweet spot, 60 to 140. Okay, another question. Where did you get your... Okay. Oh, it's moving. It's moving. Ashton, hey mate, how's it going? All right, your question. Where did you get your inspiration for such psychedelic sound design? Psytrance? Question mark. Psychedelic. The answer is in the question. I used to love taking mushrooms and going into the bush in Australia, and John Sheridan would know all about this. And you know, those experiences, they really, in combination with listening to psychedelic music, of course. I think Tetrameth was a massive influence. Um, but it was, yeah, the combination of that Xenon psychedelic music, but then actually going into the bush and listening to the language of nature, and seeing the vibrations that would happen there, while taking psilocybin mushrooms, very much attuned me to these sort of patterns and these fractals and these ripples that exist in the language of nature. And then I thought about, like, how can I recreate that with a synthesizer, you know, in music. And so yeah, that was kind of I would say, the biggest inspiration. Yeah, definitely. You know, when I first discovered psytrance, well, the first time I heard it, I was a little bit curious. I was like, oh, that's weird. It's kind of fast, but it's a little weird. But when I actually had that come to God trance moment, you know, the thing that defines people who love psytrance from people who don't understand it, that one moment where you come to the dance floor and you've taken the right amount of whatever it is, and you become the music. And when you come back into your body on that dance floor, bare feet on the earth, you're changed. You know, you've had this experience with dancing that you didn't know was possible until that point. So definitely the psytrance. Even though I don't really listen to that much psytrance anymore, but I still love it. You know, I'm getting old. You know, I'm slowing down, just going ambient these days. Ambient core. All right, ambient step. Yeah. All right, next question. Oh, hold on. Big hug from Portugal. Hugs to Portugal. All right. All right, hunting for another question. Oh, okay, here we go. From Rodrigo. Hey, mate. Good to see you on here. When you're about to start a track, what's usually your first step? Do you start just by playing about or with a feeling or imagery in mind prior to getting that first sound? What is the seed that leads to a full track? This is an epic question, and it very much defines a lot of what the first part of the retreat is about. Um, you know, like back in the day, I'd get an idea and a theme, and it was sort of something that I came onto early, where even if it was just a color, like the color purple, I'm like, I'm going to make a song about the color purple. Um, and think about like what are purple things that I love, like amethysts and grapes. Um, that was sort of an early way of doing it. And I always, of course, tried the classic way of just jamming and finding ideas and building upon those. But I found as time went on that I really got a lot more nourishment and joy out of making music to a story and a deeper intention. So it kind of has gotten a little out of hand. And in the studio, I have, this little like thing here, notepad and a pen. And so when I'm making or a, um, an EP or an album these days, I write a concept, and that concept I write not only in shorthand, but I sort of map out chapters, and I have like a logical sort of through line, a storyline that's going to happen, and each song represents a, a sort of a chapter, an energetic within this bigger story. So if I was to pull up the notes for an album which I'm finishing at the moment, which is a new Griffin Cloud album, it'll be the debut Griffin Cloud album actually. Very exciting. 14 tracks. It's called Learning to Breathe. Now that album came in as a concept with the idea learning to breathe, and then I sat with that for a few years, and then I started making some sketches. But then one day I decided, let's get like really deep on this album and give it a deeper concept, like what is learning to breathe for me. And then I started going into a sort of inner child perspective, and what was it like as a child to learn to breathe, which isn't something we really do. We just know it's innate, it's in our DNA. But you learn to breathe through life, because as life schools you with its lessons, its traumas, especially when you're younger, you find yourself breathing more shallow. And then as I was getting older and starting to do breath work and meditation, I was retemplating my body on how to breathe deep again. And doing that, I cured my asthma, which was really epic. But the getting back to the question here, like when I made this album, I sketched out like all these different chapters in this journey of going back into childhood trauma and heaviness, and bringing that onto the canvas with purpose for a cathartic release and a liberation of these stuck parts within myself. So yeah, I'm excited. This is the very first time I've written an album about my inner world instead of the outer world. So yeah, that'll be finished soon. I'm on final mix down, and I can't wait to share it. Don't know when the release date is yet, so don't ask me. All right, sweet. So yeah. I have a seed, and I develop that seed with creative writing. Sometimes I even sketch like imagery in my mind, creating the landscape and the world. And then, like, I know that I know what the key is going to be. I know what the feeling is going to be. So I can come and sit down and start like working in a scale that's in the emotion of that song. It makes it so much easier for me. I can just fly through um, fleshing out songs. And then the fun part is you can still jam because you've got the framework. Now you just go crazy within that framework. All right, so let's do another question. Um, okay. Oh, sorry, the questions are moving. I'm trying to keep up here. Um, makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Shimmer. Shimmer is one of the best tracks ever. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy it. Old school, original. Um, Watching at work. Oh, that's the best way to work. Yeah. Okay, analog versus digital. Oh, classic. You know, I was watching this video yesterday about this keyboardist and composer who's worked on a bunch of movie soundtracks, and I think he did keys for Michael Jackson back in the day. Yeah, and he's got this YouTube channel, and he's got this. The title of the video is "Digital is more analog than analog," and I liked it because you've got this old guy who used to be fully analog, who's now like devoted to digital. It's the cleanest, it's the most precise. He's got an entire paper. He's written about it as to why it's more analog than analog. And then you got the old, Michael Jackson keyboard guy who's just like, man, I love my synthesizers and my analog because it's simple and it's focused and it doesn't sound perfect. So I think it's like, for me, my relationship with digital and analog is this dance between um, efficiency and workflow and staying in the flow state in combination with what sounds epic, cutting edge. So it's for me, it's just this sort of workflow I've designed over the last, it's only been like the last 5 or 6 years where I've started to get analog gear. But after getting some things in my racks here, some, Culture Vulture and mastering EQ and bus compressor and stuff, when I put audio through that, most times I prefer it to a digital version. So so what I'm doing lately is I'm just taking the time to record my digital stuff back through the analog gear, but only sometimes, not all the time. If I did it for every channel, on a 60 channel song where there's a lot of digital synthesis and stuff, it just doesn't make sense. It's too much time. So I'm sort of in this place where I love them both and I use them both, and I'm just figuring out like this flow. I think there's times when absolutely the digital is more efficient. It can do sound design stuff that the analog can't. And then there's times where just running it through the machine and distorting it just gives it this vibe that I just can't find in digital yet. And yeah, it's getting closer, I will say. The synths from Softtube, the model synths, they sound so close to the original synths. It's kind of scary. And I'll find myself using the Softtube Moog, the Model 72, instead of reaching over for my my Sub 37, just because it's there, it sounds good, and it's easy. But when I get jamming on the Sub 37, the stuff that comes out of that is nothing like what I would do in the box. So it's kind of this balance of the two. They've both got their strengths and weaknesses. Analog has its charm, its happy accidents, and it's incredible to see where digital's going. It's getting so neat in so many ways, especially with digital expression like MPE. Like, that stuff is cool. I've got this thing here, and I've been playing with this, and it's fun. It just gives that tactile feel of being able to just get more expression, which I love. So yeah, analog and digital, both awesome, and yeah, use them all the time. What do you think, Psy? Oh, okay. Um, where do you think Psy bass dub genre is now, on its dawn or going to past? I don't think it's really a good idea to think about music as coming and going. It's a little bit of like a MTV mindset when we do that, because we're sort of caught in this clicky idea that because something's new, it's better, and because something's old, it's outdated. But I will say that sounds do get outdated, especially in the music, electronic music world. Like, think about all the dubstep and the bro step from that early dubstep era that just sort of, flooded away, like early Skrillex. Like, how many people actually bump that stuff in their car every day in these days? So, for me, the most important thing is what is in the music to make it timeless. And if you've got a genre like psy, dub, bass, and it has an explosion, it makes sense in the sine wave curve of the vibration of reality that it's going to go through peaks and troughs. And I like to, for me, it's about like what music have I bonded with and what music still stands the test of time. Like listening to old Ott, listening to early Spongel. Like there's certain musics that I've had this experience with that I can still, listen to and feel that magic from that time. So I think it's, yeah, I don't know. To be honest, because I've been out of the scene for the last 4 years, almost 4 years, I'm actually not really aware of where things are at, in terms of, well, I watch a little bit of like Azora and Boom, videos when they come out after the festival, of course. Um, so yeah, for me, I'm not really approaching my music from the idea of, is it relevant? It's more about, is it music? Is this music that's made to tell a story that's timeless? Or am I just trying to jump on what the newest, production technique based sound is with the, a new synth comes out like Serum, and then everyone makes a new genre around this new synth, and then, Serum gets old and people get tired, and the whole thing just reinvents itself. So yeah, I love the idea of just understanding music from a musical sensibility. What music is timeless? I was listening to the band 311 the other day. I grew up on music like that, and in my stoner days, I loved listening to that band. And I go back and I revisit my favorite albums. And while I don't fully resonate with all the music, there's still stuff in there that I'm just like, wow, this is timeless. This is good stuff. That song 311, all mixed up, yeah, bump it today. It's the best. Love it. All right, moving on. Oh, so many questions. I got to stop rambling. There's so many questions to get through here. Okay. I love psychedelic and yeah, I love yes, exactly, psychedelic ambient. Yeah, see, the cool thing with like music, ambient music, is it's just so easy. Look at YouTube and how many channels there are for ambient music these days. I love it. It's great. What bands? Okay, what bands besides Tool were and still are your biggest inspirations? Well, let's see. Tool, Incubus, 311, um, Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters. Absolutely. I mean, I still listen to Herbie. That stuff is timeless. I still listen to some Tool. There's a new band from Finland, or a newer band called Wheel, like the wheel on your car, and they're like a more sort of polite and reserved Tool, clean cut Tool. I don't know. I like them. They're cool. There's a band from LA called Night Verses. They just released an album. It's mostly instrumental. That stuff is really cool. Um, yeah, I listen to a lot more instrumental stuff these days. There's a band from Sydney called Meniscus. They do ambient, post rock, progressive rock, and yeah, I love that stuff. Osric Tentacles. I never was a huge Osric fan. I like them, but I didn't have like a breakthrough experience with them. Um, it's funny. It's funny. Music, the way it resonates with you, it's a very personal thing. Um, all right, let's get another question here. Which are the three mostly use virtual synths in your toolbox? Oh, this question is too hard. You know, I should just pull up a list of the 100 synths that I use and try and pick, try and pick three. I mentioned before the Soft Tube Model 72. Yeah, I like that a lot lately. Um, let's see, what else do I use? I still love using, um, I still use Serum a bit. I use Diva a lot, you know, classic. I think like after I fell in love with analog synths when I came back to writing with digital again, I've definitely gravitated to the more cozy synths like Diva, ones that have a more analog-y vibe. I like the GeForce Oberheim synth. That's pretty cool. I haven't explored minimal audio current that much, but it looks like a really fun synth, and it sounds really good too. Um, so it's a hard question to answer. The three mostly used. I definitely use Contact a lot. There's so many good Contact libraries out there. Um, yeah. What else? Oh, there's a new synth called Plasmonic. It's like a physical modeling synth. I like that one a lot. It's pretty cool. Weird sounds out of that one. Okay, let's move on here. Another question. Um, Johnny Rose. I love Kamakshi Devi so much, but never found too many tracks of yours to play with it. Could you suggest some? Let's see. That song was 105 BPM ish. Let's see. I think it was around 100 and something. Maybe it was 100. I, it's from memory. I think it was in F or F sharp, maybe F. There's definitely songs that go with it. I think like, when I'm playing a set and I have that song in the set, I would pair it with songs in a similar tempo, and then, you know, obviously look for harmonic relationships to mix it in key. Um, so yeah, just go through the archives. There's plenty of 100 to 110 BPM tracks around that area that would work. Yeah, just play around, have fun. Oh, we have El Eva. Oh, she's cute. In retreat, what will be the mysticism part? Okay, the mysticism part, it's kind of hard you know, to grasp this one in a simple question. The mysticism part of the retreat is going to be, like I said before, all of the things that make up our experience in reality and how that relates to our creative flow. I think that's a good way of putting it. So, how do these things affect you? What you eat, not just with your mouth, but what do you eat with your eyes? What are you soaking in from the internet world? And how is that informing subconsciously what you do? Is it making you heavy? Is it dragging you down? If it is, why is that? And then when you make art from that place, are you fully aware that you're channeling this information that you've eaten with your eyes into your brain into the music that you're making? So we're going to really look at under the lens, we're going to look at all of these things that affect us and how we can attune our body temple and our mind temple into being aware, like being more self-aware, tracking our emotional state, tracking our mental state, looking in the mirror of our relationships, looking in our relationship to our world, where we live, how we live, all of these things. This is the more mystical part. There's definitely going to be some esoteric topics we touch on as well. Let's have a look at, I've got the curriculum here on the screen. Let's see if I can pluck anything. Oh, ego, that's a big one. Ego, we're going to look at and understand our relationship from an ego point of view to our art. Live transmission, that's another one. We're going to look at and understand when we are presenting our art on stage or on camera, what is the frequency that we're aligned with? What is our intentions? Did we step up on stage with any baggage, with even any awareness that we can affect a huge group of people with our art? So yeah, there's a lot of responsibility to be talking about in the mystical path. Um, let's see. Yeah, the shadow, that's a big one. We're going to talk about the shadow. Um, Even if we can't see it, we're going to talk about it. It'll be fun. It'll be deep. Um, what are your thoughts on 432 hertz tuning? All right. 432 hertz. If you don't already know, I've been making music in 432 hertz for, what year is it? Yeah, for 14 years. 14 years, 432 devoted. And the reason, um, well, let me get clear here. It's not just about 432 hertz. If you take uh, if you take your synthesizers and your instruments and you pitch them down to 432 hertz, you are still in equal temperament, Western standard tuning. The relationship of the notes to each other is dissonant. There aren't perfect harmonies in any chord progression you press except octave to octave. That's the only time when two notes are going to resonate, and it's only A and A that have whole number hertz frequency values. Hertz frequency values as a relationship of sound waves to time are completely relevant to this realm because time is readable in the spinning of an atom. So the way that the sun moves around this realm and the way that particles spin on a subatomic level is, in this particular place, related to our interpretation of time. So when we look at Hertz frequency values on our notes, it's very important to understand that if there's decimal values in the notes, then those relationships will be dissonant. The dissonance is very small and you don't notice it. You can live with it your whole life and not know. But it's there. And when you start to play music in pure harmonies, in pure scales, pure tuning, hermode tuning, just intonation, even some more harmonic scales like tunings like the Maria Reynolds circle of fifths I use, they are way more harmonic than equal temperament, and they feel so much better once you get used to them. And once you write music in them for a while, it starts to become very noticeable. And so, yeah, I love 432 hertz. It's not a new thing. Rudolf Steiner was talking about the importance of 432 over 100 years ago. So it's not some new age thing. I think all the claims about healing DNA and all this other stuff, like, I don't go on those rides. I don't like to get caught up in these sensational woo-woo stuff. For me, it's about what feels good. When I play certain, tunings, it feels good. I like that feeling, so I stick with it. So yeah, 432 hertz all the way. Oh yeah, check out a documentary called Sonic Geometry Part 1, Part 2 on YouTube. Very good little breakdown of our relationship of 432 and the factor 9 grid to frequency and this world we live in. Okay. What else have we got? 432. Where am I up to? What is that wooden device or tool behind you? I think maybe this one. That's wood blocks. Yeah, we got, hold on, we got a little mallet here. You know, if you've listened to my music a bit, you'll understand I love the organic frequencies. So I got my wood blocks, I got my didgeridoo, it's a didgeridoo there, and then a whole tray full of little shakers and nuts and rocks and shells and bones and all sorts of stuff. Super fun. Yeah, recording those wood blocks and putting a little bit of reverb on them. Oh, it's just endless joy, that sound. I love it. Um, Also, a new addition, a flute here. Check this out. This is a flute made from the leg bone, I think it's called a femur, of a mountain lion. So I was walking in Colorado in the Rockies and I found an entire mountain lion skeleton. And I gave this bone to Dan, who makes root flutes, and he turned it into this cute little flute. And that's going to be on a new song soon. I'm still practice. I'd play it, but I'm still practicing and getting used to it. I'm not that good on it yet. All right. So, can you improvise something for us now? I'm improvising this whole thing right now. Are you using any analog obsession plugins? I do like analog obsession plugins, but I don't really use them that much. I think like for the most part, when I discovered them, I already had so many other things that already sounded great that I am used to. And while I checked out pretty much all his plugins and I love them, I haven't really integrated any of them into my workflow to replace anything else I already had. But yeah, great stuff, and you know, does them all for free. Like that's such good energy. Getting all, you know, new people can come to music and just download all that and have those amazing plugins. Epic stuff. Okay. When are you back on tour? Oh, I already answered that one. Sometime in the distant future, not too distant future. We don't know. That one's a big question mark. But yeah, listen back to the video and I explain that one a bit. Hey Alfredo. Hey mate, yeah, new Griffin Cloud album's gonna be tops. Loving it. Do you also record at 192? If I had a computer powerful enough, maybe. But you know, I'm recording at 96, and you know, even the difference between 48 and 96 for the vast majority of people, I don't even know if I could pick out the difference. I can hear and feel the difference between 44.1 and 96, which is why I switched over to 96. But with how complex my productions are, even running at 96 is challenging for my Mac Mini. I need to upgrade, you know, to get a little bit more CPU headroom. But for me, 96 is amazing. I'm grateful that I can do stuff in 96. And, you know, I like it that, you know, in the world of visual, we've moved from VHS, you know, to like HD to like now 4K and 8K and whatever K it's at now. It's nice to see people moving in audio away from MP3s, you know, dirty little MP3s, to actually getting into embracing higher bit rates of music. And yeah, it's good stuff. I'm all about it. And one day when my computer's fast enough, maybe I will do everything at 192 just for fun. Okay, when using analog rhythm or digitone, what do you do to keep true to 432 hertz? With the digitone over here, you can actually just go into the settings and pitch down to 432. Of course, it's not going to be harmonic. It's still equal temperament. Um, but I think there is a way around that. You can actually use software to send your MIDI controller signal through the computer through MTESP. It's a free device from Odd Sound. And if you run your MIDI controller through your computer, through that device, through your DAW, you should be able to tune the digitone in any tuning. I haven't actually done that, but when I've used the digitone, I just do it in equal temperament 432. The analog rhythm, which I actually sold recently, it just wasn't getting enough love lately. Probably the best drum machine ever, and maybe I'll buy another one again one day. Awesome stuff. Same thing. You can just pitch it down to 432. With these synthesizers, like some of them I'll pitch just by ear, like with the Moog and the SEO2, But actually, the Moog has tuning files, so I just load a tuning file into that. That's the cool thing about a lot of new synths. You can just load tuning files into them. So yeah, that's what I do with my hardware synths. Like the Novation Peak, which is up there, tuning file, just put it in, set and forget, too easy. Everything's in 432, done. Cool. Hey, what specs would be ideal for computer and laptop? So Tom Merry, what specs would be ideal for computer and laptop? Well, it's really about what level you're at in terms of what you do. I think because I write in 96K, 24 or 32-bit recordings, I need a fast computer, but like this Mac is 3.2 gigahertz, 6-core i7. I think it's like 2018, and like I said before, it struggles with my more complex productions. But the good part to having a computer that is maybe not as fast as you want is that you have to render things down into audio to get rid of all the plugins that are taking all the CPU. And the cool thing about that is it gets you to commit your audio and to keep moving forward. So I've always done this because I've always pushed my computer to its limits, even from the very first computer I had with Logic 5.5 or whatever it was. I was always maxing my CPU. So the good thing about that is I always was rendering things down. So it got me in the habit of committing my audio. So working on a thing, rendering it down, putting it in the project, like moving on. And I think that can be a really healthy practice. So yeah, ideal specs, just get as fast as you can for whatever budget you have. Um, I have a Mac Mini here in the studio just because it's easier just to not have to take the laptop on gigs. Obviously, I haven't done gigs in a while, but having the laptop separate made it easier. So just computer for gigs, just Ableton to run my live shows, and then Logic in the studio for production. What are your thoughts about music future when it comes to AI? Also, in general, AI and world's future. Well, this is a big, crazy topic. Some people are a little scared of it. Some people are very excited by it. I think it's this, it's a bit of both. It's like this double-edged sword. When it comes to the world, AI could be the ultimate tool of our enslavement, our own enslavement, where we enslave ourselves through AI and Neuralink and all this crazy stuff that's happening. But it could also be a massive liberation. And let me tell you why, especially in art. This is going to be an epic perspective to take home. Because AI mimics the mental capacity of humans, it can only do so much in terms of recreating art. Unfortunately for AI, it doesn't know what emotion is, and it never will. It doesn't have a human heart and a holography that is built upon a soul that has traveled across time and space for eons, collecting information and then channeling that information through DNA. These things are not replicable um, ever through technology. Sorry, any racers out there who are working very hard to prove me wrong, but yeah, have fun with that. So anyway, the glory of what's happening now with AI is we're going to be saturated with AI so much AI, and it's going to bore the shit out of us to the point where we start to realize that the art we resonate with comes from the human soul. I'm not going to say that this is happening to everyone. Some people are totally like ready, lined up, give a ticket to Zuckerberg and put on the mask and go into an alternate artificial world. That's cool. If that gets you off, that's fun, whatever. I'd rather go and sit outside with a tree. Thank you very much. But yeah, so I see this as a renaissance of art. We're in a period now that we're going to have to go through where it gets more uncomfortable, where AI takes over everything. But eventually, the human soul will come back to the forefront for a lot of humans, because we'll realize that's what is missing and can't be replicated in the art. But it takes a human being that is connected to the body to resonate with that feeling of another human soul, which is why so many people are being tricked by AI at the moment, because they're thinking about their connection to what they see with AI images and video. They're using their brain and they're being wowed by that experience because of the colors and the perfection, right? But that perfection, like I said, is going to get boring. And when it does, there'll be a new renaissance of human-made art, which brings that to the forefront. The understanding it's that we have this soul, and the music that gets channeled through my soul is different from that human and that human, and every single human has a unique and precious vibration to it. So yeah, I get excited. I get like overwhelmed with how crazy it's getting with AI, but I also get excited because that's what I see as a future potential for where we're going with AI. All right, let's see, Heath. What did you say, Heath? Do you have? I'm going to wrap things up soon, just so we'll do a few more questions, and then we'll close it out. Let's see. I asked about 190, 192. There's anything to listen to your music that's super duper clean. Oh, nice, nice. Do you have any 22-inch frame drum? I don't know if my frame drum is 22 inches, but it's pretty big. If you slightly dampen it with your head when you play it, you get a sick bass tone that goes deeper and deeper. Cool. I'm going to try it out with my drum. Love it. Your new vinyl. Oh, yeah, the vinyls masterpiece. Yeah, yeah. We put a lot of love into this vinyl, and it's taking a little bit longer than expected, but it's going to be the best vinyl that's ever been made. So good. Language of Light. I don't know if, some of my early works, I don't have the pre-masters. They were lost to, failed hard drives and data corruption. So I don't know about putting some of those early albums on vinyl, unless I can work with the masters, but that's not really ideal. When I make a vinyl, I want it to be as good as it can be for vinyl. So I don't know about Language of Light. Maybe I'll find the pre-masters one day and it'll happen. We'll see. Are we going to create some completed album in retreat? If you can make an album in a week, I'll be very impressed. I would like for us to maybe do the most of a song. That would be great. We're going to take a journey and we're going to work on our music each day using the tools and techniques that I talk about and Tyler talks about as well. So yeah, it'll be a fun journey, and who knows what we'll make. But it's going to be fun. What is your intention with your online community? Are you still focusing, engaging? Oh, Kyle, I have to be honest. The online community has taken a back seat because of a few reasons. Last year, we were moving 3 times for the whole year, and basically the whole year was moving, and I had no ability to focus on doing that, and I had no studio to make new content. We've only been in this place for a short period of time, but um, I haven't been making any content because of a few personal reasons, and one of the main things here is the internet is terrible. Like, I had to restart this stream at the beginning and switch over to internet off a phone because, yeah, like it takes me hours to upload things here and download. So it's not practical for me to work on online content at the moment until we get an internet upgrade. And also because of other projects that are happening, I'm on the fence about continuing the online community just because I don't have the time that I would love to put into it. So the future is untold. But I'm definitely going to make more content. Online course, I think an online course is going to come out. We'll take the content from these retreats, do some stuff with that, definitely. My favorite synth. I think my favorite synth is the Sub 37, the Moog, the original one. It's just like, it's like, I don't know. It's just got this old, lazy, cozy vibe about it. It's sometimes challenging to get it right in a mix, but it's got charm, and I love that charm. And then when I run it through some distortion pedals and stuff, it's just, love it. It's cozy. What's your approach to recording with microphones when you incorporate stuff in your music like those wood? Oh, yeah. So I just keep it simple with microphones. I did go to the School of Audio Engineering and I learnt mic techniques, but after so long, I just sort of, forgot about them. And lately, my microphoning is very simple. For vocals, I have a WA six. What is it? WA, whatever the warm audio recreation of the Neumann. Yeah. Anyway, it's a Neumann knockoff. It sounds pretty damn good, and I run that through preamps. I have these little Soyuz mics, which are from Russia with love, and these things amazing. Like, I use these for everything: guitars, drums, even sometimes for vocals. They're a FET mic. They have a pretty clean sound. They're easy to distort, but yeah, I run that through preamp, um, like an API style preamp. So yeah, I don't get too technical with mic positioning. Like, I just make it all quiet in here. I have another Soyuz mic right here that's already focused down there at all the percussion. So I literally just I turn that on, I record it into Logic, and I do my thing. Keep it super simple. And then obviously in post, I'm just doing like gating and EQing and dynamics to get things sounding right. So yeah, I just keep the mics thing simple. I'm not like a super crazy nerd setting up configurations and everything. I just do it quick and easy, and if it sounds good, awesome, and if not, I redo it. All right. Uh, let's see. Do you do any one-on-one mentoring? Sometimes because my internet is really slow, I'm not doing it at the moment via video. But in the future, if we move into a space where I can do one-on-one, I will open up that possibility of having students one-on-one in person. Um, and if we have really good internet in the future, I will potentially open up to one-on-one online mentoring because I do enjoy that. It's good fun getting personal. That's one reason why we wanted to keep this retreat small, is I'd love to get really personal with everyone and kind of key into where everyone's, frequency and personality and relationship to art is, so that we can really sort of dive deep in a way that works for you, because we're all different. Some people are more mental and technical, some people are more intuitive and don't care about the the technicalities. So yeah, I like to sort of straddle between those two. Um, okay, so let's just do one last question here. Um, Spaceship Earth. Hey man, have you thought about playing live keyboard for Kalya Scintilla when you return live? Maybe, I've been practicing my chops. I didn't do it before because I just didn't feel that confident, but sometimes on odd occasions I would take my little analog synth, the SEO2. I take that thing out. It's got a little keyboard that attaches, and sometimes in some sets I just play and tweak that. But I've I've been practicing scales and all. I'm a self-taught musician, so it's taken me a long time to get to this place, and I still struggle with keys. Um, but yeah, I do like that live element. It is fun to have something else to do up there other than just do Ableton wizardry. Cool, sweet. So I think I'm just going to wrap up here by just saying a little bit more about the retreat, because that's a big thing that's coming up. So yeah, it's going to be a week long. There's going to be a small crew of us. We're going to be focused deep on interpersonal work and cutting edge audio engineering and sound design. And most of all, we're going to get in the studio together, and we're all going to work on our craft with this, guidance from myself and Tyler, Birds of Paradise. And we're even going to have a little bit of Eve around because she's coming in with her galactic mythological perspectives. And yeah, the three of us will sort of be overseeing and guiding everyone, and we'll be having this fun experience. And I'm hoping that I can take some of these toys along to the retreat too, so we can have a little play around with some synthesizers and some guitar pedals, and maybe even a little bit of Euro rack, maybe. So yeah, super fun. The food is going to be off the charts. Farm to table, Justin, Master Chef, incredible stuff. Local, a lot of local stuff. Food's going to be epic. The retreat center is a cute little up and coming permaculture farm on this beautiful property, and it looks over the ocean of the whole southern point of the island. If you look from where the kitchen is, where the eatery is, you can see all the way down to South Point, and you can see all the way up to Volcano. And there's this huge. It almost reminds me of a mini version of the Great Southern Bight of Australia. Um, it's funny how similarities there are in Hawaii and Australia. So yeah, epic place. Yeah, a little bit of like tropical vibes, but also at an elevation, so it's nice and cool. Um, yeah, the weather, it's Hawaii. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. We never know. On, I think Thursday's going to be Adventure Day, and we're going to go on an adventure, maybe to the ocean for a swim, or maybe up to the volcano to check out the crater. Um, yeah, don't know. We'll go for an adventure. Well, maybe we'll do a group vote and figure it out. But yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Super excited and juiced up for this one. And yeah, if you can join us, great. If not, that's great also. Hopefully we'll be doing some more either later in the year or next year. And yeah, there's lots coming up. New Griffin Cloud album, the launch of the Sonic Samadhi YouTube channel with ambient meditation music to take everyone into deeper states. And a big project, a big secret project, which, like I said, it's too mystical to talk about right now. So that's all for today. If I missed any questions, I do apologize. Love you all so much. Thank you so much for the love and support over the years. It's been a journey, and here we are. We found our stride. We're cruising. All right. Big love, everyone. Stay grounded.